The average American consumes roughly 130 pounds of added sugar every year. That's about a third of a pound every single day. Most of it is invisible, hidden in foods you'd never think of as sweet, and a growing body of research suggests it may be doing far more damage than anyone expected. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly what the science says. Table sugar is made of two molecules, glucose and fructose. High fructose corn syrup is almost the same thing, roughly 55% fructose and 45% glucose. Here's the critical difference. Glucose can be used by virtually every cell in your body, but fructose is processed almost entirely by your liver. And what happens there is where the trouble starts. When fructose hits the liver in large amounts, it bypasses the normal energy regulation checkpoints that control glucose. The liver converts much of it directly into fat. This process is called de novo lipogenesis. Some of that fat stays in the liver. This contributes to a condition called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which now affects an estimated 25 to 30% of adults in developed countries. The rest gets released into your bloodstream, reaching your heart. Researcher Kimber Stanhope at UC Davis ran a tightly controlled clinical trial. Participants lived in a hospital with every calorie tracked. Her team replaced 25% of their daily calories with fructose-sweetened beverages. Within just 2 weeks, those participants showed significant increases in LDL cholesterol and triglycerides. These changes did not happen in the control group. It wasn't just the calories, it was the fructose. But the heart isn't the only organ at risk. In a follow-up study, Stanhope's team found that even moderate amounts of high fructose corn syrup, as low as 10% of daily calories, raised cardiovascular risk markers. The effect was dose-dependent. The more sugar, the worse the numbers. That 10% threshold is well within what millions of Americans consume every day. Now here's where it gets really serious. When you consume sugar, your blood glucose rises and your pancreas releases insulin. That's normal. But chronic overconsumption can lead to persistently elevated insulin levels, a state called hyperinsulinemia. Many tumors overexpress insulin receptors. When insulin binds, it activates growth pathways that fuel the tumor and suppress cell death. In effect, these cancers hijack your body's insulin system to feed themselves. Lewis Cantley at Weill Cornell Medicine discovered the PI3K signaling pathway, one of the most commonly mutated pathways in human cancers, found in roughly 38% of all cases. The takeaway is important. Sugar doesn't directly cause cancer, but high sugar diets may create a metabolic environment that helps cancer grow. And it's not just your body being affected, it's your brain too. Neuroscientist Eric Stice at Stanford has used functional MRI scanning to study the brain. His findings show that sugar triggers dopamine release in the striatum, the brain's reward center, in patterns that overlap with addictive substances. This isn't a metaphor. The same neurotransmitter system and the same brain regions are involved, and the more you consume, the less you feel. Stice's studies show that people who regularly consume large amounts of sugar develop a blunted reward response. The brain produces less of that satisfaction signal over time. The result is a vicious cycle. As the reward fades, the drive to eat more increases to chase the same feeling. Weight gain itself further reduces the brain's response. So how did we end up eating so much of it? In 1977, the government told Americans to eat less fat. The food industry listened, but when fat came out, taste suffered. So manufacturers added sugar to fill the gap. Between 1970 and 2005, added sugar in the food supply increased by 19%. As fat consumption dropped, sugar consumption surged, and the results were devastating. A landmark 2014 study analyzed data from over 30,000 American adults. The finding was stark. People who consumed 25% or more of their calories from added sugar had more than double the risk of dying from cardiovascular disease compared to those consuming less than 10%. So, what should you do? The American Heart Association recommends that most women consume no more than 100 calories per day from added sugars, about 6 teaspoons. For men, the limit is 150 calories, about 9 teaspoons. To put that in perspective, a single 12-ounce can of soda contains about 140 calories from sugar. One can, and you're already at the limit. And here's the good news. Whole fruit contains fructose, but it doesn't carry the same risks. The fiber in whole fruit slows absorption, limits the amount of fructose per serving, and delivers essential nutrients. The problem isn't nature's fructose, it's the concentrated doses in processed foods. The most important thing you can do is read labels carefully. Sugar appears under dozens of names. Here's the bottom line. Whether sugar qualifies as truly toxic is still debated, but the direction of the evidence is clear. Excessive sugar drives liver fat, raises CVD risk, and fuels cancer growth. The researchers who study this most closely have significantly changed how they eat. That may be the most telling data point of all, and we're here to help you make informed decisions too. Visit advoMedix.com to explore more evidence-based health content and track your family's health patterns. Now tell us, what surprised you most? Drop it in the comments. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. We're here to help you navigate what comes next.